Over the past 10 years, I've been a dedicated sim racer, and over the past 6 years, I've been at the top level of esports sim racing. And a year and a half ago, I quit my job, and in October of 2024, I launched Boundless Racing. And this is our best sim to date. All right, so let's walk through this simulator. First things first, I want to talk about the seat. The seat needs to be very sturdy and very comfortable, and that's why we choose the Sawbelt Titan Max. This seat, it's very good for any sort of body. It fits up to a 36-inch waist size, and we can substitute this seat for anything else. We can work with Sparcos, Recaros, any other Sawbelt seats. We can do pretty much everything because we can source pretty much anything. Next thing, we gotta talk about the cockpit. This cockpit is a 160mm aluminum extrusion cockpit. It's the most sturdy and it's the most rigid cockpits on the market. And the other type of metal we gotta talk about is the monitor stand. Both the cockpit and the monitor stand is from our partners over at Advanced Sim Racing. The cockpit is the ASR Pro with the Pro wheel deck, and then the monitor stand is the triple monitor stand supporting up to 45-inch ultra wides. Speaking of ultra wides, the monitor choice on this system are triple 45-inch LG Ultra Gear ultra wide monitors. These monitors are very large and they encapsulate you into the system. It's 180 degrees of immersion, and with proper field of view, which we're able to do, it really does give a lifelike experience. You really feel like you're in the car, you have the proper depth perception, and that crystal clear OLED image makes for truly some of the most ultimate sim racing experiences on the planet. Now, the next thing I want to touch on the cockpit is the motion system. So if you watch the previous video to this, talking about another turnkey of this size, which is the Legacy, you saw that we had a D-Box system. Now, there's nothing wrong with D-Box, but we have switched over to Vero Motion. We feel that Vero is at the forefront of realistic motion simulation in racing simulators. Their passion for replicating real-life feelings in terms of haptics, motion, smoothness, all while being more affordable than those D-Box solutions. That's why we choose them. This system is the Champion GT. It has up to 4 inches of travel. It has 250mm per second travel speed. It's one of the best 3-off systems I've ever felt. We've had multiple driving coaches. We've had IMSA world champions come through here, and they've said this is the best motion system they've ever felt, and it was game-changing for them because it actually is a tool rather than just feeling like you're getting thrown around. It's an aid, and it makes you fast, which is crazy to say because people like Max Verstappen and a lot of other people have said that motion slows you down, but that simply isn't the case with this motion system, especially on the Legacy system with the triple 45s, is an absolute treat. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the wheelbase. The wheelbase is the Asetek Invicta top line of the Asetek Sim Sports wheelbase lineup. Asetek has been making some great things over the past couple of years, and we're really impressed with the Invicta. 27 newton meters of torque, 22-bit encoder, which is super important for that precision and feedback through your wheelbase. We're really happy with what they've been able to produce and have been pumping out a lot of simulators with this wheelbase. The next thing we need to talk about are the pedals. For this setup, we are using the Heusinkfeld Ultimate 3-pedal set. Now, we don't necessarily always have to use those pedals. We also use the SimiCube active pedals, which we have had on other systems. However, for this system and what comes standard on our Turnkey Legacy systems is the Heusinkfeld Ultimates. They've been out for a few years. They're super reliable, have a very consistent feel. Overall, is probably the best set of pedals on the sim racing market when it comes to price, reliability, and consistency, and that's why we use them. The next thing we're going to talk about is the shifter and handbrake. So behind this flight stick, which we'll get to after this, is the BDH shifter. And let's take a listen here. So the BDH shifter, it's H pattern and sequential, which is super sick. And then for this setup, we have the SimMagic TB1. So this client wanted something a little less than the normal handbrake we have, which is the SimMagic TBRS. That is a hydraulic handbrake, probably the best handbrake on the market. The TB1, also great. It's load cell, not hydraulic, so you get a little less feel out of it, but is great something that could be useful if you're not super into drifting or rally but still want a handbrake for those applications. The new thing we have is flight controls. Cameraman, come this way and check out our flight controls. So first things first, we have the Thrustmaster HOTAS setup with the flight stick. This, you know, you can shoot your missiles, you can do everything you want to do. You have the flight stick and you have the throttle with all of your controls. It's very, very cool here. And because you get flight stuff along with racing stuff, you need to be able to get in, because as you can see here, it's very difficult for me to get in if we didn't have a pivoting arm, thanks to our partners at Advanced Sim Racing. Very cool technology there. And below, right in front of our pedals, we have our rudders. These are very important. So that's a new thing we have. So that's a new thing we're doing with select turnkeys. We're adding in flight controls, specifically on our Fusion package, our Legacy package, which is this, and some higher packages that we will be releasing later. A lot of people like flight sims. Inherently, flying is more difficult than cars. Getting into it is especially more expensive. Flight lessons, shoot, could cost $300 to $500 an hour to fly a little Cessna. But if you have the simple controls in order to get started, like some rudders, a flight stick, and a throttle, you can hop into Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane, and you could get some flight time without having to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars to fly an actual plane. One-time cost. That's the great thing about simulators. So the next thing I want to talk about are some added peripherals. And the first thing for a peripheral is the steering wheel. So this is the Asetek Forte round wheel. This comes standard with all of the Legacies, along with the Asetek Formula wheel. However, on this rig, we spec'd it out with the GSI X29, possibly my favorite Formula wheel. As you can see, there's no screen or anything of that sort, but it's a very simple wheel. This one is their 2-paddle variant, and it has, you know, 10 buttons on the front, 3 dials, 2 thumbtacks. Very, very good wheel, and it's a great basis and a replacement for the Asetek Forte Formula, as it's very similar in terms of ergonomics and as well as costs. Some other peripherals that come standard with this rig is Logitech Z906 surround sound. It's very important to be not only immersed with your eyeballs but also your ears, as another form of driving. So having surround sound for us is extremely important in order to have that full experience. And then of course, how can we forget the computer, the PC? All of our turnkeys come with up-to-date graphics cards, up-to-date CPUs, top of the line. This one came with a 5080. We went with something a little lower. You can spec this turnkey out with a 5090 if you so like, but the OLED 45s can run perfectly off of a 5080. And then for the CPU, we have an AMD Ryzen 9800X3D, one of the best CPUs on the market. And not only to mention that, but with all of our turnkeys, everything is wired and done for you. You don't have to lift a finger. That's the beauty of a turnkey simulator. You don't have to do any of the guesswork, any of the building. Everything shows up to your door with a handsome install team in order to install your simulator into your home or your business. Everything here is nicely wired. As you can see, it's not a big wire mess at all. Everything is beautifully tucked away, and that's a plus you get with going the turnkey route. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let us know down below what we should add to our Legacy turnkey setups. And if you are on the market for your own turnkey racing simulator setup, click the first link down below, fill out a form, and have a no pressure consultation where we'll walk you through what works best for you in terms of your dream racing simulator. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.